going to do homework 422/23, number 2. It asks us to write a statement using one of the following phrases to compare the value of the expressions, then explain how you know. So our options are is slightly more than, is a lot more than, is slightly less than, or is a lot less than. So our first one, A, is 14 times 999 thousandths is something compared to 14. Okay, so if we're going to first look at our scaling factor. This is our first factor, and it's going to give us a product of 14, or that's going to be either bigger than or less than 14, and that's what we're deciding. So this number, we have to think, well, is it greater than, equal to, or less than 1? And it's less than 1 because it's a decimal, but it's so close to being 1. So this, if we multiply it times this, it'll still be smaller than, but it'll only be slightly less than. So this will be 14 times 999 thousandths is slightly less than 14. And you would just explain it. I'm not going to explain it because we really already talked about it. This is the scaling factor is just below 1. So our product will be slightly less than what we started with. Let's look at B. 1 1/100th times 2 600ths is what compared to 2 600ths? So let's look at our scaling factor again. This is the one we're going to multiply it by to see if this is going to be bigger than or less than what we started with. So this is, you have to think, is it more than 1, less than 1, or equal to 1? And it's more than 1, but it's barely more than 1, just a little hundredth.
So it is slightly more than.
Yep, you got it, Nikki. So we know that our answer is going to be slightly more than what we started with, because if our scaling factor is bigger than 1, it is going to be bigger, but this one's just going to be barely bigger, so we'll write is slightly more than 2. And then you just need to go ahead and explain why. But remember, if your scaling factor is less than 1, then your product will be smaller than what you started with. If your scaling factor is greater than 1, your product will be bigger than what you started with. And if your scaling factor is equal to 1, well, it's going to be the same as what you started with because you're just multiplying by 1.